What's going on, guys? It's your boy Lee John, and I want to talk about something that I stumbled upon while reading the Mount Targon lore. So if you watched my last video, you should know enough about the last battle the Targonians had on Runeterra, and if you don't watch my videos, you should. But to summarize, basically centuries ago, the previous iteration of Pantheon was fighting creatures of the void, and that same Pantheon commanded that Aurelion soul help him get rid of these void creatures. And Aurelion soul did just that. He launched giant supernovas at these creatures, but in the process he melted the nagging Pantheon as well. Now, before he launched these giant supernovas at the creatures, we get a glimpse at some void creature laughing at the face of Aurelion soul during this whole thing, undermining his power. So Aurelion soul had a nagging Pantheon on one side and a laughing void thing on the other side. So that makes for a very pissed off star dragon that contributed to a decimated Mount Targon that we know of now. Now we have to begin to wonder who in the void has the balls to laugh at the face of a cosmic dragon. It definitely wasn't this two-legged worm who spits everywhere. He's a little too primitive in nature, and the same primitive nature could be said about Rek'Sai. Kha'Zix and Malzahar are automatically out of the picture since the creature soul speaks of comes directly from the void. Kha'Zix possibly, but Kha'Zix is having trouble snuffing out Rengar, so I don't think Riot would introduce Kha'Zix on that power scale of fighting cosmic dragon. Now we get to Vel'Koz and Cho'Gath, probably the two most intelligent void creatures introduced so far. In Aurelion soul's bio, he says the creature that laughed at him was far from the typical mindlessness, basically singling out void creatures with very primitive intelligence, as I spoke of before. But what we do need to look at here is him describing the creature as hungry and indomitable. Now, with Cho'Gath's ultimate being called Feast, in a bio that talks about him devouring people growing in size, we can assume that he's talking about Cho'Gath or Kog'Maw's dad, confirmed. But it is this hungry indomitable trait that separates him from Vel'Koz, because Vel'Koz is hungry, but hungry for different reasons. He is hungry for intelligence rather than just meat like Cho'Gath. Also, Cho'Gath's title as Terror of the Void is much more suitable for this role as a cosmic dragon fighter than the title of Eye of the Void. Not to mention, a fight between an eyeball and a dragon seems a little off. It's just striking how the description of Cho'Gath in his bio and the description of this creature soul speaks of are very similar. Also, keep in mind that Riot basically made League of Legends and the Institute of War inside of the lore non-canon. You guys notice how that rhymed? I'm just straight freestyling on this video. So if this YouTube thing doesn't take off, I think I'm going to become a rapper. But anyway, and Cho'Gath's current lore still makes him stuck in this non-canon Institute of War. Although there's not 100% concrete evidence, I do think from a strong gut feeling that Cho'Gath is the strongest void creature. He needed to be constrained in this Institute of War using summoner magic so he could stop wreaking havoc on Runeterra because there was nothing else to stop him. Also keep in mind that champions summoned into the Rift are only models just like Baron, and some champions like Malphite who are a goddamn mountain could not fit into the Rift otherwise. So this is basically saying we don't know Cho'Gath's true power or his true size. Not to mention he is forever growing. As long as he eats, he's basically a Chicha on steroids. Currently, I think he would make a great champion to contend against this dragon given all the build up in his lore, and even the league is afraid what will happen if Cho'Gath is let loose. The quote in his bio saying, "Woe betide the day when Cho'Gath grows weary of the league." So I made this video because it's pretty undeniable that Cho'Gath will be due for a lore update since Riot has already shut down their previous idea of an Institute of War. And when it does happen, I wouldn't be surprised if Cho'Gath comes out as the king overlord of the void. Like, fuck the Rampage arcade games, Cho'Gath is the real goddamn deal. Whoever it is, whether it's Cho'Gath or some other new champion, it is probably going to be the direct rival of Aurelion soul and is the leader of this void incursion soul speaks of. Now, it may seem odd that I would say a creature from the void can contend against a dragon who creates stars, but like I said previously, we don't know the size of Cho'Gath, and it is highly unlikely he didn't even fit onto the Rift to begin with. The model size of a fully grown Cho'Gath in game is about the size of Soul's model in game, so maybe that could give a little evidence of his size compared to Sol's. Not to mention the height of his power has yet to be revealed. He doesn't even come from the world of Runeterra, and the Void seem to already host one of the most powerful champions in League. So when you really sit down and think about it, it does make some sense. But until then, it's been your boy League John, and I'm out.